What's happening at OpenAI right now is, without a doubt, one of the most aggressive corporate makeovers we have ever seen. They are making a massive, calculated pivot from a research-focused lab to something, well, something much, much bigger. And this entire transformation really boils down to one central question. How does a company that started its life as a nonprofit research group turn itself into the Apple of AI? Now, that metaphor is absolutely key here. This isn't just about having the smartest model. No, it's about creating a completely closed, seamless ecosystem where they control every single piece. So let's actually dig into this plan. It's all built around a classic business strategy called vertical integration. The goal? To own every single layer of the AI stack, from the silicone all the way up to the app. And if you're not familiar with that term, vertical integration is basically when a company controls the whole shebang from start to finish. Just think about Apple, right? They design their own chips, they build their own hardware, they write their own software. That is the exact playbook OpenAI is now running with, but for AI. Their ecosystem has three distinct layers. At the very bottom, you have the brain. This is the core model, like the upcoming GPT-5 and all the insane compute power needed to make it run. Then, in the middle, you have the tools. These are the kits and code bases that let developers build on top of that brain. And finally, at the top, you've got the OS, and for them, that's ChatGPT, their direct pipeline to millions and millions of users. And when I say pipeline, I mean just look at this number. 800 million people use ChatGPT every single week. That's an 8x jump in less than 2 years. It gives them a direct line to the consumer that nobody else in AI can even touch. And it's not just users. You've got 4 million developers actively building on their platform. That number has doubled in 2 years. And it creates this powerful cycle, you know? The more developers that build cool stuff, the more useful the platform becomes for those 800 million people. But none of this, not the users, not the developers, not the fancy models, none of it works without the foundation it's all built on, an absolutely staggering amount of computing power. This is their strategic moat, and it's one that competitors are going to find it nearly impossible to cross. To lock this down, OpenAI has inked 2 monster deals. First, with NVIDIA, they're committing to at least 10 gigawatts of their next-generation systems. And then just a month later, they turned around and signed another huge deal with AMD for 6 gigawatts of their GPUs. You have to let that sink in for a second. Their total committed power is 16 gigawatts. That is basically equivalent to the entire planet's GPU output for a full year. All of it going to just one company. This isn't just a competitive advantage. It's an almost insurmountable barrier to entry. And as their CEO, Sam Altman, says, everything starts with compute. He doesn't see this as just a tool for building AI. He sees this infrastructure as the literal foundation for the entire economy of the future. Okay, so you've secured a compute empire. Now what? What are you actually going to build with all that power? Well, this is where we get to the really exciting stuff, the product roadmap, and a huge shift to a totally new kind of AI. Their timeline is just incredibly aggressive. First up, we're expecting a final update to the GPT-4 family, called Orion. But then, just months after that, comes the main event, GPT-5. And this is being billed as a revolutionary leap in what AI can do. This will then pave the way for the mainstream rollout of autonomous agents, AIs that don't just answer questions, they do things. So what makes GPT-5 such a game changer? Well, it's designed from the ground up to be a unified reasoning system. It can figure out on its own if you need a quick, simple answer, or if it needs to go away and do some deep, complex thinking. It's also going to be way better at multimodality, seamlessly understanding text, images, voice, and even video all at once. And the sheer scale of it is just orders of magnitude bigger than anything we've seen before. And this is the most crucial point to understand. The whole philosophy is changing. We are moving away from reactive chatbots where you type in a prompt and get an answer. We're moving toward proactive, autonomous agents, where you give it a complex goal and it figures out all the steps to get there on its own. Now, this vision of a compute empire and armies of autonomous agents, it's incredibly ambitious. And it raises a pretty obvious question, right? How on earth are they paying for all of this? This is where the numbers get truly wild. In 2024, OpenAI pulled in a very impressive $3.7 billion in revenue. But They lost $5 billion. That loss is a direct result of this strategy. They're burning through cash on compute and research to build that moat and fuel this insane growth. But here's the crazy part. Despite those massive losses, investor confidence is absolutely through the roof. A recent funding round valued the company at $300 billion. The bet is that this huge upfront cost will pay off by creating a market position that no one else can challenge. So, to get all that money while protecting their original mission, OpenAI is making a really clever structural move. They're becoming a public benefit corporation, or a PBC. It's a special kind of for-profit company that is legally required to put its public mission, building safe AGI, right alongside making money. As their independent director, Brett Taylor, puts it, this new structure creates a firewall. It lets them raise insane amounts of capital for their commercial side while making sure the original nonprofit goal of benefiting all of humanity always comes first. So with OpenAI building this massive, closed, vertically integrated world, what does that mean for everyone else in the AI industry? Well, it pretty much changes all the rules of the game. And what's super fascinating is that while OpenAI totally dominates the consumer world with ChatGPT, the enterprise market, selling to big businesses, is a whole different story. Right now, they're actually in second place. Anthropic's model Claude is the current leader, mainly because businesses really like its focus on safety and its ability to handle huge documents. For other companies, this means the old strategy of trying to build a better foundational model than OpenAI, well, that's probably over. The new path to survival is all about specialization. It means focusing on a very specific use case, building your own unique data sets that OpenAI can't touch, and becoming an expert in tricky industries like finance or healthcare. When you really step back and look at the big picture, OpenAI is building a new kind of operating system for the entire world, an OS built on intelligence itself. And that leaves all of us with the most important question of all. For every single developer, entrepreneur, and creator out there, what will you build with it?